Maigovanen, folks. Kamal here, recording this video past 3 a.m. in the morning because why the hell not? This is problem 4 from the 2025 MIT Integration B finals, and yes, I released a video covering the finals a few days ago, but there was a slight issue with my reasoning for problem 4. Slight issue, to say the least. Yeah, the final result was correct. However, the solution development did contain a few errors, or one particular error that was extremely significant. Thank you everyone in the comments for pointing that out, and thank you everyone for providing this really cool solution development that is A, rigorous, B, quite efficient, 3, just straight up dope. This thing is just awesome. So what is this new approach based on? Well, the max of two functions f and g returns whatever function is greater on an interval. Okay, cool. But wait a minute, then you should get exactly the same result for 1 over k times the max of kf and kg, where k is some positive real number. And the exact same reasoning or equivalence applies to the min function, which is pretty awesome. Why? Well, let me just play around with the integrand a bit. First things first, we notice that we have these squares of absolute values, which is no problem whatsoever. Since if f is greater than g, it implies that f squared is greater than g squared. So that means we can rewrite I as the integral from 0 to pi of the max of 4 sine squared x and 2 cosine 2x minus 1 squared times the min of sine squared 2x and cosine squared 3x, some curly braces, dx. Now let's play around with the trig functions a bit. We have sine squared 2x, which I've written quite horribly over here. Terribly sorry about that. Once again, terribly sorry about that. Okay, cool. So what exactly would sine square x be equal to? That is 4 times sine square x times cosine square x. And what about cosine square 3x? Well, this thing over here is 4 cosine cube x minus 3 cosine x. What is wrong with my 3's today? Whole thing squared, and of course we can factor out a cosine term, so we have cosine square x times 4 cosine square x minus 3, and this term over here, the 2 cosine 2x minus 1 whole thing squared, cosine 2x is in fact cosine or 2 cosine square x minus 1, so that means this thing simplifies to 4 cosine square x minus 3 whole thing squared, which is quite nice because that means everything could be fixed by a factor of cosine square or 1 over cosine square. Either one will work. So we'll let k equal to 1 over cosine square or secant square. So I here equals integral 0 to pi, and I'll write this as cosine square x times the min of sine square 2x over cosine square x and cosine square 3x over cosine square x. And of course, you may notice that there could be an issue with x equal to pi over 2, but it's non-existent. You could split up the integral along the line x equal to pi over 2, do a phase shift, and yeah, everything's fixed. And of course, another phase shift would turn the cosines back into sines. At least that's how it's working in my head. The good news is that, yeah, this approach works. Everything converges quite nicely. And of course, we have the max of 4 sine square x. And what exactly was it? Oh yeah, 2 cosine 2x minus 1 whole thing squared. Again, the curly braces, can't forget those, dx. So notice that sine square 2x over cosine square x is just going to be 4 sine square x, which is awesome. And of course, we just saw what happens when we divide cosine square 3x by cosine square x. We get exactly this term, which is dope because now we have the max of two functions times the min of exactly those two functions. So whichever function is greater will be spit out by the max, and that means the other function will be spit out by the min and vice versa. So the max and min essentially just cancel out. So I here equals integral 0 to pi cosine square x times what exactly? We are left with 4 sine square x times 2 cosine square, no wait, it's 2 cosine 2x minus 1 whole thing squared. And we see that if we multiply these two, we will in fact get that cosine square 3x term again. So I here simplifies out to integral 0 to pi, 4 times this integral, that is, of sine square x times cosine square 3x dx. My handwriting seems a bit more awful than usual today. Terribly sorry about that. Again, I'm quite tired. It's exactly 3:40 a.m. right now. Okay, cool. In the finals video, I just left off over here because this integral is quite trivial, at least trivial relative to the kind of stuff we do here on the channel. But I might as well go all the way. So we have squares of sines and cosines, which are quite nice to deal with because we can use double angle formula, the double angle formulae for the cosine function, that is. So sine square x should be 1/2 of 1 minus cosine of 2x, whereas cosine square 3x should be 1/2 of cosine 6x minus 1. So that means I here equals 4 times the integral from 0 to pi of 1 minus cosine 2x. And of course, wait, we have 1/2 times 1/2, which is a quarter. We have cancellation. 1 minus cosine 2x, terribly sorry about that once again, and cosine 6x minus 1 dx. So this thing sorts out to integral 0 to pi cosine 6x minus integral 0 to pi of dx. And then we have, that's not right. I should not be getting that. Oh, of course. There you go. Much better. Terribly sorry about that once more. So we have plus integral 0 to pi dx, and of course we're left with minus integral 0 to pi cosine 2x. Because I'm mentioning the dx at one place, I might as well just mention it everywhere. I know I'm known to omit this at times. Anyway, so we have negative this thing, and we're left with one more integral. Oh yeah, minus integral 0 to pi cosine 2x times cosine 6x dx. And these integrals are quite nice to deal with. Reason for that being, well, the antiderivative of cosine is sine, and we'll have sine of even number times x. And with these limits being 0 and pi, sine of 0 is 0, and sine of even multiple of pi, or any integer multiple of pi, that is going to be 0. So these two cancel out quite nicely. This implies that I here is equal to pi minus this remaining integral that can be solved using the product of sum formulae. So recall that cosine A times cosine B equals 1/2 of cosine A plus B plus cosine of A minus B. It should be a plus sign because, yeah, the sine terms will cancel out. Okay, cool. So that means we have cosine of 8x over here plus cosine is an even function, so instead of negative 4x, I'll just write this as 4x. And again, we see that the integrals cancel out to 0, or converge to 0, which implies that I here equals pi, which is quite nice indeed. Thank you once again for the solution development. My subscribers are definitely the smartest subscribers on this platform, and probably the face of the earth. Hell yeah. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.